Welcome back to In Tune. This is Arnold Stricker with Ellie Wharton. We're glad that you decided to come back and listen. So we have in studio Mia DeJong.
Hi.
From Opera Theater St. Louis, and no relation to the third baseman of the Cardinals.
No.
Oh man, I'd have stroked that one.
Yeah, I'd have run one. I think a distant relation
There's
sometime.
a distant relationship, yeah.
No, Mia, glad to have you here on In Tune. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
And
me.
Mia's here to talk about a very interesting program. Many of you may be aware of Opera on the Go that Opera Theater St. Louis has, this program, which brings live opera to students, and they talk about music, drama, and character and makeup and understanding the process of opera, and then it culminates in a performance that's done. But there is going to be a performance that's coming up at Southview School, which is part of the SSD school system. And students who attend Southview live in several of our neighborly school districts here. And the students there have educational diagnoses of developmental disabilities, autism, and emotional disturbance. And this particular program of sensory-friendly family production of Rossini's Barber of Seville.
Yeah. So we're excited about this. This is our third year doing sensory-friendly programming. And it really sort of came out of a need for these students and families to have a place where they can experience the arts in an environment that's comfortable for them. A lot of these students have sensitivity to light or to sound, and they react in a variety of ways. Sometimes that's rocking or humming or the need to stand up or the need to walk around. And so the sensory-friendly performance gives those students a space to do that, where our actors are prepared really for anything to happen, but also where they can come with their families. And we say, come as you are and enjoy it as you will. So that's sort of where the program came from.
It's really interesting that, most of the time you see a performance, you go to the venue where the staging has all taken place, where all the costuming is located, and they're all set up for that. In this particular case, because it would be difficult to transport those students, and school is a friendly environment for them. It's probably their second most friendly environment other than home. And I can really see the benefit of not taking the students to the performance, but bringing the performance to the students.
Absolutely. That's one thing we're really excited about this year, is to be in partnership with a special school district, because it just makes sense to come to the students rather than having to come to you, to have a safe space. The other thing about this program that's pretty neat is that the students get to see the actors participate in the workshops. They see them transform into the characters that they'll later see on stage. So they see all the behind the scenes work before they get to see the opera, and they get to see that sort of transition happen.
So talk us through a little bit, because this is going to take place Saturday, October 27th at 1 o'clock. It's the sensory-friendly family production of Rossini's The Barber of Seville, produced by Opera Theater of St. Louis. And it does, as you've stated, Mia, there's some interactive workshops that are going to be taking place in makeup and dramatic movement and singing. And talk a little bit about those things, unpack that a little bit for us, and what kids and families who might be there, or is this anybody can show up for this particular thing, or just students from the school?
No, it's certainly not. So this is open to the community for those students and their families. So we encourage siblings to come along too, parents, grandparents. You don't have to be a part of the special school district to participate. So we do, welcome the community. We start our program with those 3 workshops. Each is about 15 minutes, and they focus on one of the different elements in opera. So one is stage makeup, and we do old age, and we do fake injuries, and the kids really get into it. And then another one that we do is movement. This one is really quite cool with this group because it involves a lot of nonverbal communication. How do we express ourselves without having to use any words? How do we understand emotions from our actors when they're not talking? And then the third one we do is about singing styles. As you know, opera is not amplified, and that's pretty foreign to a lot of students today. So they get to see, what does it take for an opera singer to sing that loud or that high or that long, and they get to experiment with it themselves as well.
Yeah, you've got some folks that can actually project very, very well and would never have any need of any kind of amplification.
What we say is there are people that can sing and there's just people that can sing.
How's that one spelled?
Yeah, no, don't even worry about
Is
it.
it SAANG?
That's right. It's something like that. Double G. She's got people that can sing, I tell you.
So at will the kids move between these workshops then every 15 minutes? Is that, or will the opera theater group move between the kids?
The students rotate between the three. So every student will participate in each workshop. So it's about 45 minutes, and then we all come back together for that performance of Barber of Seville.
Okay, very, very good.
And I will tell you that my very first experience with opera that I like, because I've always been around opera, haven't really liked it, but the Opera Theater St. Louis is who turned me on to opera that I really like. And it happened that Allison Felder asked me to come by and do an interview about the Opera Theater St. Louis. And at the time, there was also the master class with Grace Bumbry occurring.
Right.
And so I had a chance to talk with, and I can't think of Robert's last name right off the top of my head, but it was a great experience. And Allison gave me 2 tickets to go to the opera, and I went with my husband, and we both really enjoyed it. So I tell you, when people really want to get into something different, and it's right here in our backyard, I tell you, it's Opera Theater St. Louis.
One of the benefits of having it right here also is just not proximity, but that the operas are all done in English.
Exactly.
And so you're not listening to Italian, and you're not listening to German. You're listening to, mostly written in Italian, but you're listening to it in English. It's been translated.
Right.
And then you can also, it's projected up there, so if you have a little difficulty listening to some of the words as they're being sung, you can see what's going on. It's like a closed captioning going on.
Right. And the crowd, what's really neat about the crowd is that it is a dressy up affair. It makes you feel like, oh, well, let me put on my good stuff.
And there's really not a bad seat in the theater.
There's no bad seat.
And it's not like you're sitting way up, in the third story in the nosebleed section.
I have been there.
Not at Opera Theater St. Louis, though.
No, that was right. That was the Muni.
Yeah. Other opera halls, it's like, they're massively large, and you have to have opera glasses to see. And this particular venue, it's not that way.
And then don't forget, you can also have the picnic before the event. So that was a great way to get together with friends and with family and just sit down and chill out, in the back garden area before going in. So it's always a very exciting experience, one that I think people should put on their calendar. And you know what? When you think about it, because I went to the movies just recently and by myself, and by the time I got a ticket, some popcorn, a soda, and some candy, which I know is terrible, but everybody has to get that when you go to the movie, right? I had spent just about the same amount of money as I could having gone to the Opera Theater St. Louis on one of their discount tickets.
There you go, folks.
Okay, so put that into perspective.
It is perspective. So the story of Rossini's Barber of Seville, when charming Count Almaviva falls in love with the beautiful Rosina, he'll need the help of his clever friend, the barber Figaro, in order to steal her away from her possessive uncle. Now, this program that you guys are putting on at Southview Middle on Saturday, October 27th at 1 o'clock, it's recommended for families and students in grades 3 through 10, and it's tailored towards young people with sensory processing sensitivities. So, and reservations are required for this, correct?
You can purchase a ticket on site, but we do recommend, just because we want to keep it sort of an intimate and comfortable environment, we do recommend that you can call the box office to reserve a ticket, or you can do it online. If you do reserve ahead of time, you get several resources to help prepare. So you get a social story and a synopsis and things to prepare your student before they come to the opera.
What a great thing.
And I know I'm jumping out there, but remember last week we had Robin Rosenberger from Tiny Superheroes?
Yes.
And it made me think that this would be a wonderful thing to be able to do, is provide some tickets for those young superheroes. So to participate in something like this. I mean, I will personally talk to Robin about that, but that's exactly what it made me think of when you were talking about bringing in children, because that's what she was talking about, was how to get children engaged and interactive and feeling like, you know what, they're like everybody else.
Yeah, and it's great that they have an opportunity to be exposed to opera, and Marriage of Figaro is such a great opera.
It is. It really is.
It's a fun one. So reservations for this event, you can go to Opera Theater. It's opera, stl.org and click through there. The tickets are $6, and as Mia was saying, includes an electronic social story study guide and script. Pacing lanes and a quiet room will be provided so students can participate at their level of comfort.
I like the fact that what sensory-free concert meant is that it's judgment-free.
Yeah.
Children with special needs and sensory sensitivities are free to experience the music in a way that is appropriate for them. And I think that that's so important, that our young people with special needs are in environments that are judgment-free. So I really appreciated you having that as a statement.
Is there special training that you're or discussion that you're going through with the cast as it relates to this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a retired music teacher from the special school district, Paula Berner, who works with all of our artists to prepare them before this. We've also partnered with Different Dynamics, which is a new organization in St. Louis that specifically serves the needs of the sensory-friendly community or sensory-sensitive community. So we have been talking to them in our training. Paula will come in and work with our artists one-on-one to prep them. But we've also talked a lot with area organizations about how to prepare our space, how to prepare our audiences, how to maybe adjust our sets or our costumes so that we provide an open and a welcoming environment.
And is this the first type of activity that you've done like this?
This is the third year that we've done this program.
The sensory program?
Yep.
Okay.
And we're hoping that this will expand to more sensory-friendly opportunities across the season and across a wider variety of generations that can participate in opera theater at their level of comfort.
Very cool. Very
Well, be
cool.
sure and let us know when you have events.
Absolutely.
We can certainly post them. We can have you on to do community corners. We can have you come on and just all kinds of things to help educate the community about this resource. It's fantastic.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, the sensory sensory-friendly concert will be, again, October the 27th at 1 o'clock, and tickets are $6. They can be purchased in advance by calling 314-961-0644, 314-961-0644. Mia, do you have anything else to tell us related to this particular program that's coming up?
I mean, Barber of Seville is an opera classic. It's comedic, it's farce, it's slapstick. It's going to be a lot of fun, so we hope to see a lot of families there.
And I like the name. I just kind of happened to notice the name here, Count Alma Viva, which basically means like live spirit.
Yeah.
If you took that word, Alma is soul and Viva is alive.
And that's from?
The Barber of Seville.
I mean, what language?
Oh, that would be, it would be Spanish.
Okay.
That's how I would know it, but I'm sure that it's
Latin.
also probably Latin broken down.
Right.
Exactly right. So when I looked at that, I went, oh, look at that. How that little subliminal that's in there, Alma Viva.
Yeah.
I think that's what I want you to call me from now on. Okay.
Alma Viva?
Alma Viva. Does it have like a ring? Okay. Golly.
L.A. Viva.
After you all just bashed me about my phone.
Yeah, I was going to say. Phone which ringies.
I tell you, I don't understand what happens here. I'd rather go back to the old time here with Mia, because these phone things, man, they're getting to me.
Sometimes it just needs a reboot.
It needs something because...
Or just booted, period.
I don't know why all of a sudden now it starts ringing, and everybody that knows me knows I'm on the air from 11 to 3. So why are they calling me?
Well, Mia DeJong, we appreciate you coming from Opera Theater St. Louis and informing us about the program that's going to take place on the 27th of this month at 1 o'clock for Sensory Friendly Family. Production of Rossini's Barber of Seville. Again, tickets are $6, can be purchased by calling 314-961-0644. Thank you for coming in today.
Thank you.
I think this is a great follow-up. I just have to go back again to Tiny Superheroes and how I see these things connecting. To me, that it's almost like a continuity, of how we're able to educate the community on resources right here. That we have for all types of people, all types of children. And I appreciate knowing about these different resources. I apologize. I've never heard of this before. But boy, my head is spinning now in terms of, the places and other people that I can tell them about it.
Well, and while you're talking about that, my head's spinning, and I'm thinking of some more questions, and she hasn't gotten up yet because we won't let her get up yet until the break.
That's right.
But
even though Kevin Halloran, Chief Halloran, is out there pacing around,
right at our second half,
patiently.
we're going to talk about fire prevention.
Yeah, he's great.
The the issue of other kinds of barriers that kids have. Let's talk about a little bit about visually impaired. How does a visually impaired person get a chance to experience opera, other than through their ears?
Sure. That is definitely a challenge. In this setting, it's a lot more intimate than it would be even at Opera Theater, which is already quite an intimate setting. But our students are right up in the front. Our sets are, because we're a traveling show, we do this in gyms and school locations, so we don't have a lot of lighting. We do the gym fluorescence, and that's what we get. So it's all very bright. All of the costuming is very bright and vivid. And sometimes we do go to schools where there are students who have visual impairments, and then we prepare them with documents in advance so that they can have the libretto and have the score, and so that our students are prepared for what they're going to experience.
And do they get a chance to, like, okay, I want to touch the scenery here so I can feel what that forest, how you've kind of imagined that forest to look like?
Absolutely. For a lot of these students, touch is sort of the most important sensation. So we do a lot of passing around of the props that they'll see, touching the costumes. Even the students who participate in the workshops, before they do the makeup, they touch the brushes so they understand what it's going to feel like on their skin. That can, to us, that doesn't feel so strange, but if you have sensory sensitivity, putting something on your face could be quite shocking. So we try and prepare them with things like that.
Now let's go to students who may have, or even adults who may have a hearing difficulty, and obviously, opera is music, and it's drama. So you would normally expect the music and the libretto to be heard, but if you can't hear, at Opera Theater St. Louis, you can see, there's closed captioning, what I'm going to call closed captioning, and you can also watch. How does that play out when you go out and work with the students?
So for sensory friendly, we have the libretto or the script essentially with us. A lot of these students actually have the reverse. Not that hearing impairment is an issue, but that the volume is so great that's the sensitivity. And it is opera. I mean, it is loud. That's hard to get around. But a lot of students come in with headphones like we're wearing. And our artists are prepared in case, students cover their ears in the opera house. They might be offended by that. But in this setting, they know that that's a totally normal reaction.
Well, Mia, a question I have, just like I go every week to a nursing home, and the people there are always so grateful, but they don't realize that we're the ones who end up leaving feeling so blessed. I could see that this could be the same thing with your artist. How do they respond to working with children like this?
So last year was the first year we brought in Paula to prep our artists, and everybody was extremely nervous. You could just tell that they were uncertain about what they were getting into. And as we left after the sensory friendly performance, they were so fulfilled artistically, because it's not so much about the applause or the review for them. They've really made an impact on these students, and they know that there's a need, that there's not a lot of opportunity for these students to engage in art in a way that is meaningful for them and their families in a safe environment. So they really provided something there, and that's extremely fulfilling. I think every artist left feeling like they received so much more than they ever gave. For me, it's sort of a passion project. When I moved to St. Louis, I worked in a preschool and made a really close connection with a student on the autism spectrum. And so I sort of carry his face in the back of my mind as I work through, how are we going to meet these students' needs? How do we meet them where they are? How do we fill that need? So it's a very fulfilling and gratifying experience, and we're glad that we can offer it.
That's very similar, Ellie, to these kind of scenarios where an artist, when you purchase a piece of art from an artist and they know where it's going, it's a piece of them. It's like one of their family. And if they know that, you're going to take care of it and you're going to prize it, or a chef who enjoys preparing something for you, and then you just rave over it because it's just scrumptiously delicious. And they are pleased that you're pleased because they're cooking for you. And these artists are doing, at Opera Theater, are doing this, and they know these kids are really getting something out of this. Like you said, it's not about the performance, it's about that interaction, that connection that they're making.
Yeah.
That's really super.
Now, Mia, are you a performer?
I am, yes. I am also a vocalist.
Ah. Where can we see you? What are you in?
I sing with the Bach Society of St. Louis. So we have an upcoming performance at St. Stanislaus. So that's where I will be next.
Wow. See, I just looked at her because, I mean, you all really have to see this young woman. She is so well put together. I was looking at her hair. Hair looks like, she's got a little hair sprayed up a little bit, so that the microphone doesn't mess it up. Her makeup is just right, her eyelashes.
It's just the performer way, I guess. We're always on.
It is true, But again, you come across, she's sitting up straight here. Me and Arnold are kind of slouched down.
That's because we're tired. That's because we're older than she is.
That's right. Her little perfect, if I sat like that for 4 hours, I tell you, I would be a better person.
I'll have to raise the microphone up now.
I tell you what, my father is a choir director. So I think it's just ingrained in me.
Yep.
To sit up straight, huh? Yep. I could hear Miss Turner at Douglas Elementary, and she used to always tell us to sit up straight and squeeze your buns. Try that.
This chair is too soft.
Yeah, I can remember. I tell you, anybody that went to Douglas Elementary, that would be our joke to each other.
Sit up straight
and squeeze your buns. That's right.
Okay, next time I see some of your former classmates, I'm going to ask them that.
That's right. But they had to have had Miss Turner, so they have to be in a certain age group.
Okay.
Because we all had Mrs. Turner. She was the choir director. But that was her thing. Squeeze your buns.
Well, don't forget, folks, you can sit up straight and squeeze your buns at the Barber of Seville family-friendly production. That's going to be Saturday, October the 27th at Southview School, located in Crestwood. Tickets are $6. Call 314-961-0644.
Now, see, Mia will walk away with this little gem, the squeeze your buns thing.
I'm not going to forget that.
That's right. She will never forget this.
Yeah, she won't. It's not, I was on the radio. No, what they said was this, sit up straight and...
That's right. That's right. We have to also impart our wisdom on our guest every now and then. That's
I was stunned by that comment.
Chris almost spit his drink into the...
It wasn't what you said. It was just the dead silence that followed.
That's because we haven't had any sleep.
That's right. And we're drinking Colombian coffee.
I'll need to have some of that. I'm just drinking water.
No, man, you have to take some of this high octane and
okay.
Davo.
Octane me up.
That's right.
I'm ready for that.
Yeah. Well, this has been a great interview, Mia. You can see that we have a good time here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for including me.
It was a good conversation.
You are listening to KWRHLP 92.9 FM. This is Arnold Stricker with Ellie Wharton of In Tune, your community radio station in Webster Groves, Missouri.